Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to episode number 8 of Playing with House Money on the Toilets to Titles Network. I am Ice. You can find me on Twitter at Iceman_1013. And this right here is my co-host DJ Prue at PrueBaby10, the self-proclaimed live bet king. How are you today, my man?
I am fantastic. How are you doing, my guy?
Yeah, can't complain. Cannot complain. Things are good.
Yeah, man. We said we needed a weekend, huh?
We certainly did. We didn't have a bad one at all.
So last week we wanted to regroup a little bit, get a little more precise and decisive, and it's safe to say we did just that.
We did. And I think that's the thing. Like we're still hitting, but we're getting more and more, like you said, decisive. I think decisive is exactly that. Like we're not putting so many plays out there, but we're making sure that the plays we are putting out are getting there. Because there was as many as we hit this weekend, there was a lot of others that were one leg short. So yeah, we were close to a big weekend.
Yeah, I think it was more conservative for sure. The volume was pretty crazy. I mean, we'll start right out of the gate. We had a couple parlays hit. I posted a 2-leg plus 1020. It ended up being an SGP from Texas. It was actually a 3-leg, but I had Adolis Garcia. He ended up not playing. Check your lineups. Check lineups. Don't make plays before lineups. But the other 2-leg ended up cashing, so that was nice. Plus 1020. A plus 1136 4-leg as well. So that was real nice. It was 2 4-figure parlays to just get us out of the gate real strong. And we had a lot of home runs randomly. This weekend I didn't run many parlays. And if I did, it was, 1 or 2 4-legs, something like that. I didn't do many of the home run parlays that we usually would round robin. So I was just running straights, and it ended up working in my favor and in the group's favor. And, we had Austin Riley, Rafael Devers, Ryan Mountcastle, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, the list goes on. We did have a couple guys kind of, screw us over a little bit, basically every day of the weekend. But, I mean, that's the chance you take. But we really picked our spots, and then we had a little bit of fun Saturday night. The 9 p.m. games, mainly the Mariners. It was the Seattle Mariners a lot. But I mean, we had, I think from 9 p.m. to about 11, we had about a dozen plate appearance live bets. And I mean, it came to a point where the guys saw me post a couple and they were like, dude, send us some if, we have time to play them. And I wasn't telling anybody to, play these 3 things, play these 4, it was, hey, take this walk, take this strikeout, and, hope for the best. And luckily it paid off. We ended up having 3 of the walks that ended up hitting. They were all back to back, and they were all plus 500 and above, as a 500 to 550 and a 650. Ohtani ended up getting walked 3 times that night. We hit 2 out of 3 of them. I think the first one was like his very first at bat. JP Crawford, I believe, walked 2 or it was 3 times. It might have been 3. I hit all 3 of his. The live bets were unreal Saturday, to a point where like the entire group chat's just alive. Just felt electric every time one hit. And then, we ended up hitting Matt Tice to end that night twice. He ended up doing a double back. His second to last at bat we hit, and then his last at bat we hit. And it was just like, when the luck's going, the luck's going. And then Sunday wasn't as good, but that was when Devers homered. I'm pretty sure it was Devers and Ohtani homered that day to really save the day. And then was that the day Candelario homered too? Or was that Monday?
Yeah. I think that was
Monday. So, I mean, I think it was just like, one, I don't want to hear anybody try to claim live bet kit. It's done. It's done. It's cemented. I signed my name. I got the key to that city. That's my house. Anybody that wants to live bet, they got to be the prince and below. Or actually, no, they got to be the jester now, because I got the prince already. We good on that. So yeah, they gotta come. They gotta come correct, man. Ain't nobody live betting like me, man. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Y'all got to get in the group though, so you can see the reads, the calls. I can't be tweeting and posting live bets. You'll never see them in time. So
I'm gonna. So when we start, I call you the self-proclaimed live bet king, don't I? I think.
yeah.
After this weekend, I can probably change that and just say you're not self-proclaimed anymore. You've proven yourself multiple times, and yeah, Saturday night was insane. And I know we were kind of texting back and forth. There was a couple like that I got. Yeah, it definitely was a good Saturday night.
Yeah, starting it off with that Ohtani walk was awesome because that was just the very first one I noted. I ended up mentioning. I was like, I mean, I need Ohtani. I'm gonna take the walk, like, because of course, if you need him, you know what's gonna happen. And yeah, it was crazy, dude. I got a little out of hand with them, but they were walking them so often, dude. I ended up putting, I think it was like 25 on one of them for 220 and 30 for another two. It was crazy. It was crazy. Shout out to the live bets. Shout out to DraftKings for being so fast with them too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest, like the winners that you're talking about at this point are only yours. You've only mentioned your winners so far. I mean, I posted a plus 1400K parlay, which was on Friday afternoon, I believe. That kicked the weekend off. That kicked the weekend off well, and then we had another K double over the weekend. Singer and Gaussman. That was plus 625. We had both teams to score treble on the soccer plus 230. It was only a small play, but it was the easy, like it was a first half cash. So like we played that as the safe bet. And then as always, Mr. Reliable, Mr. Pemmy at for Bodo Glimt. We took him in play plus 150. And then this week, during the Leagues Cup, we haven't had too much soccer. I haven't posted too much because it's been, Women's World Cup's been on, and that's been very, very low scoring. I think it's something like 90% of the games are both teams to score no. So certainly in the group stages, it's been a little bit less goals. Certainly a lot less goals than the books have thought. Like I was very tempted to run a lot of unders to begin with. Like teams just, again, like this is the World Cup. It's not going to be 7-8, 9-0 victories. But this week, Tuesday, I think it was, early part of the week when the Leagues Cup kicked off the second bunch of games, I had played a plus 900 in the morning. It was like my one bet of the day. And then one of the guys in the Discord had basically posted the same bet with a couple of different lines at plus 1600 for FanDuel for the guys to follow, and both hit. So yeah, the Discord is not just down to me and you. There are guys in there that know their stuff, and the fact that everyone's hitting in there is great. Talking of, if you want to join the Discord, come follow us on Twitter at PW_housemoney. We'll get you in the Discord. It's $10 a month for everything. The MLB, the soccer, the NFL when it starts again. Just everything in there. If you want some more of the articles, or if you want some mock drafts, or to see some of our shorts, then go over to toiletstotitles.com, get on the YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or on iTunes or any other podcast platform, then throw us a review in there. And again, if you want to interact with us beyond the Twitter, we have a Gilded Chat, where again, that's really ramping up. A couple of hundred guys in there talking about everything fantasy football, NFL, college football related. And again, like I say, the mock draft's really kicking off now as we get into redraft season, and get in the Gilded Chat, and have, again, talk to us. We're in there and we're talking about everything that's going on. But what have we got to look forward to this weekend, my guy?
Hopefully more of the same. We got a few exciting ones though this weekend. It's been a little weird with what I expected. I guess would be like last weekend I was saying you had really good teams playing teams they should really mop up. And it didn't really go like that. There was a lot of low-scoring games over the weekend. I mean, to be honest with you, luckily
I'll take responsibility for that after I said on last week's episode about taking the overs on all 4 games that you mentioned. So I'm not going to say any of that this week.
Yeah, that was that wasn't cool, man. Because it was just the fact that we had such a good weekend was kind of shocking because it wasn't really like that, for a lot of at least gambling Twitter and whatnot. And when I look back on it, it was like, yeah, we had really just precise small parlays and then the live bets and a couple straights, and so it was just like I said. I mean, we regrouped and we got more decisive, and it really paid off for us. It really showed when you look at the grand scheme of things. Because I mean, there was not as many runs as I would have thought, especially from the big teams, like the really good teams that had perfect matchups to go off. But this weekend's a little bit of the same, or a little different. But we do have a few matchups that are kind of oddballs. Like I don't really know what to expect out of them because a lot of these teams are a little hit and miss right now. But we got Cleveland against the White Sox. Cleveland's been really hot or cold, but when they're hot, they're really hot, and the Sox have the pitchers to get hot against. Basically all of them at this point. So yeah, a little bit of pain saying that, but it is what it is. I'm a realist. And then we got the Brewers and the Braves. Milwaukee has flipped the switch, it seems. Midway point, Yelich has been solid all year, but they got guys that are really getting on base. I mean, Owen Miller, Brian Turang. They have a very solid lineup when all of their guys are at least consistent at the plate and not chasing too much, swinging at random pitches. They're just kind of guessing. So that you can tell they've kind of settled down a little bit in the box. And then the Braves, as of lately, I mean, not too crazy like they were a couple weeks ago, but I mean, it's still the Braves. That lineup can go off at any point. So I really like that matchup, especially because besides, I guess, Peralta and Burns, even Burns, I don't really avoid any of Milwaukee's pitching. Burns, I mean, he kind of has a couple pitches that don't really work well against the Braves either. So I'm really looking forward to that matchup. And then Texas and San Diego. San Diego's been giving up runs lately. They were giving up runs to Pittsburgh at the beginning of the week. And I mean, I know Pittsburgh was good at the beginning of the season, but they have definitely settled into themselves. So I think, dude, Texas is probably going to be on a little bit of a vengeance after a dogfight, series before that early in the week. So I really think Texas is going to be a team that I just stay on like I have been the entire year. And then the Reds and the Dodgers, 2 teams that I do not know what I'm going to get every single night. Every single night. The Reds, I know a few weeks ago it was like, yeah, man, I like them. They're young. It's midway point now. And maybe they were just, overextending their energy. Because those guys are not putting up runs and or hits. I feel like they've had under 5 hits 5 days out of the 7. It's insane. So when they're hot, they're great. I like to pick my spots with them because there's always one or two of their guys that crank one or have good games. And then the Dodgers have seemed to at least get caught on with getting hits. It's kind of putting up the runs and the consistency, but the way that their lineup is made up, it doesn't shock me that that's the case. You have very top-heavy guys that hit home runs. They have great power, but they don't extend at bats. You need guys that go 7, 8, 9 pitches into an at bat and still have a chance to get on base. I mean, if you're either striking out or hitting a home run, you're kind of a liability. So you have to be able to kind of take what you're going to get with the Dodgers, and when they're cold, they're not hitting homers. They're horrible. So I do like to pick my spots with Mookie and Freddie. And then the occasional Muncy home run and stuff like that. But I like that matchup specifically because both teams are kind of trying to find themselves again, get hot again like they were earlier in the season. And I mean, one of them has to. One of them has to, especially with these pitching matchups. And honestly, I wouldn't doubt Cincinnati probably if they can get game one, like if they can get in rhythm game one, even if they lose the night, I think they'll win the series. Or I'll be completely wrong and they'll both put up 7 runs each and bless us.
Yeah, well, I mean, that wouldn't be terrible, right? Like,
definitely wouldn't.
Sounds good, bro. That was that. Did you say 4? You only do 3.
Yeah, those are the main ones that I'm. Those are the main ones that I'm eyeing. The rest of them are going to be matchups that you really want to pick your spots. What I like to do is I like to see how the game starts, the very first inning, top and bottom, and see how the pitcher is, how his command is looking. If you get a pitcher that's consistently throwing balls or like a ball that's going a little too far outside, stuff like that, he's not, in full control of the night. Those are the guys you want to, attack on live betting and there's certain things I want to look at, but those ugly matchups that are teams at the bottom, and you don't want to sit there and guess who's going to go off on those games.
No. Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good. Well, if you like,
what do you got?
What have I got? Well, I mean, there isn't much. It's still like the European leagues are starting up again. I'm not going very heavy on any of those. Like the Swiss league is back last weekend, but want to give it a couple of weeks until the teams have again settled into a rhythm, and then we can really start to pick our spots in some of those, sort of the Central European leagues that have just started up again. And it'll be the same with the Premier League next month. That kicks off in August, Charity Shield. So yeah, just we'll gently ease into those. And again, we have no MLS this weekend. The Leagues Cup continues, so it is literally all I'm picking here is the games where it is an MLS team against a Liga MX team, both teams to score. Keep it simple and straightforward, just simply because, and certainly looking at Saturday's matchups, all of the MLS teams are at home, right? The games are in the US, they're not in Mexico, so the Mexican teams have come up and based themselves in one of the cities where the games are going to take place. So even, I mentioned this last week, even though the books have some of them listed as the home team, they're still playing away.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, like some of the games we have on Saturday and Sunday, the main ones, Atlanta, Charlotte, Orlando, Toronto, Seattle, and San Jose. Those are the guys that are playing against the Liga MX teams. And if you've paid attention over the last few weeks, they're not very often teams that I bet too heavily on, even in the MLS. So certainly Toronto, I normally fade. They're having a terrible time. Orlando haven't been great. Atlanta and Charlotte defensively. Like, these are the games where I think, hey, like, they're at home, so they can get themselves a goal, but they're also not great defensively. So the chances for these Mexican teams to grab themselves a goal, the Mexican teams have really, shown themselves in a good light for the most part. Puebla aside, who cost us a, 1 goal away from a parlay last weekend. But the Mexican teams are showing themselves in a good light. And then Seattle, Monterrey, and San Jose against Tigres, they're 2 of the better Liga MX teams. So I think there's definitely goals in those 2. So yeah, pretty much standard rule. If it's an MLS team playing a Liga MX team, then I'm taking both teams to score. And then on Sunday, Bodo Glimt playing in the late game. So, them to score 3 goals at home is plus 116. I'm going to wait and probably after 20 minutes take my man Pemi again. Might take him before the game to score 2 or 3, depending.
Okay.
I think he's due a big game. But yeah, that's really all I'm looking at right now. There will definitely be some, like you say, some live bets or some bets that I see like once lineups are announced and stuff. But again, follow me on the Twitter, follow us on the Twitter, get in the Discord. There'll be much more plays there. But yeah, like probably a light week for me on the soccer side.
Yeah, it's been hard to call.
Yeah, and this Leagues Cup has been tough. Like there's some games where you think there's going to be goals have just been not, and vice versa. When you think it's going to be a tight affair, it's 2-2, 3-2. So yeah, just again picking and choosing, not trying to force anything, just kind of letting the games come to us. So yeah, but again, like if you want to chat to us, if you want to support us, then follow the Titles team, become part of the Title Tribe. Check out the Patreon. It's $1.50 a month. You get access into the Gilded Chat, the Frankenstein League. We did our first mock draft this week. That's going to draft very soon. I'm pretty sure this weekend we're hoping to get that sealed up, and then everything will kick off, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that to come. Prue and I are in the same division, so it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks whilst the draft is going on. But yeah, like I said, just even in that Gilded Chat, there's a lot of guys in there. There's a lot of knowledge in there. College football. There's a lot of the guys doing the rivals stuff. Yeah. And like I say, from a fantasy football perspective, just a huge amount of knowledge in there. But where we wanted to kind of focus on for a couple of minutes, I don't know. Have you had time to look at any of these futures for the NFL season yet?
Yes. So I know you know the obvious one that I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Right?
Chicago Bears to win the Super Bowl.
No, not the Super Bowl. Come on. I'm a fan, but I'm not stupid. No, I'm taking the Bears to win the NFC North.
Okay.
Because for some reason, every analyst thinks, I guess everybody I even speak to, it feels like, thinks that the Vikings or the Lions they think those are the only two teams that can win it. So,
plus 400 is huge, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. In that division.
Yeah, like that. And then I kind of went on a little bit of a limb. I want to do something that probably wasn't as popular. I think defensive rookie of the year is Christian Gonzalez, the corner from the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Perfect system for him. Kid can play anything. He's a ball hawk. I think Bill Belichick got a stud late in the first. It was a stud. I did not think he'd be on the board at all. Personally, I think he was the first or the second best corner in that draft. I wouldn't doubt he balls out in New England. It's the perfect setup. So I like him for defensive rookie of the year. I like the Bears to win the NFC North.
Okay.
And honestly, if you're feeling feisty as well, take my boy Jay Fields for MVP.
I don't dislike that Fields for MVP shout, to be honest. I have put in here that I wanted to take the Vikings to win the division.
Yeah.
But that's simply because the value in that division, I think, is huge. I would take that as a straight because, in all honesty, any of them could. I think that Chicago should be better odds than the Green Bay Packers, to be honest.
Yeah, they should be. They definitely should be.
The Vikings and the Lions, I think, are a lot closer than the books have it. But the Vikings without Dalvin Cook, I think they probably struggle this year. And again, I think that you guys are better than plus 400 shot to win that division.
Yeah,
for sure.
That division, it's not even that. That division is bad enough for anybody to win it. Like the fact that people are like, "Oh, it's two teams." Like you guys are crazy. That kid Jay Fields was out there dragging this team to 30+ points. Come on.
Yeah, no. So I think mine in the same format, like the division winners. I've got 3 that I actually really like. That I think it's going to be fairly straightforward for, and that's the Bengals, AFC North, the Jaguars in the AFC South, and the Eagles, the NFC East.
Okay.
Those three teams plus 600 for the treble. I really think, over the last couple of years, the Bengals are just unfortunate that they're in a conference where you have to go through the Buffalo Bills and then the Kansas City Chiefs for the most part.
Oh, you're saying in the playoffs?
Yeah. Once you get to the playoffs.
No, that's two different. What do you mean?
But to get to the Super Bowl, they have to go through. Very likely, they have to go through both of those.
No, Oh yeah. Buffalo and KC. But that's what you want, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course you. No, of course that's what you want. But I think they've just been very like the one year they got to the Super Bowl, they lost to the Rams.
Yeah, I think
like,
I think the
honestly,
bigger issue. I think the bigger issue for Cincy is that they're in the same division as the Ravens and the Steelers, who are always going to give you a good game, and then you also have the Browns now this year that are loaded. Mm-hmm. So I think if anything were screw that bet, I think it would be that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about that now. I mean, I'm talking about season. I actually like the Bengals to go that step, to go to the AFC Championship game. They for the most part have had the Chiefs number.
Yeah.
When they play each other. So yeah, I mean, they're plus 500 to win the AFC Championship behind the Bills and the Chiefs. So
okay, yeah, that's good value.
Yeah, and then
that's
like
good value for sure.
The one big one, like the season long, Bengals v Eagles as the Super Bowl matchup, plus 2,400. Just if I'm putting one out there now.
You think the Eagles make it back?
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, yeah. I mean, looking at who, like, no offense to you guys, but like looking at who they're up against, like that, to get through the NFC is a little bit easier than to get through the AFC.
It's getting through the season.
Oh yeah, of course. And that's the thing, right? It's all about luck. It's all about like your key players staying fit the entire season, and yeah, like that's obviously it. But I think if they do, if Hurts, Brown, and some of the defensive guys stay fit, then yeah, I don't see any reason why the Eagles don't make it back. But the one similar to yours, like the big like individual player award, this guy's been talking his shit for a long time since he signed that deal and he left the Chiefs. He's talking about breaking that 2,000 yards record this season.
Yeah,
like his line at like whatever it is, like over 1,200 yards receiving. I think he's going to absolutely blitz through that.
Give me
so hugely take the over, but plus 2,000 on Cheetah to be the offensive player of the year. I mean, I just like the fact that it's also plus 2,000 when he's talking about breaking the 2,000 yards.
I can see that.
Time. Yeah,
I can see that.
I think
for
if
sure.
he does that, he gets that. So yeah, that's my one. I might parlay the two with your Christian Gonzalez pick.
That's fire.
But yeah, I mean, it's just I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we had training camp started this week for a few of the teams. Just obviously, over the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a huge amount of potentially line movement, and certainly from the the fantasy perspective with what you see in training and what you see in these off-season games. I don't really pay too much attention to it, really, because I don't think it really has too much bearing on people out there saying like, oh, so and so got the first carry today. So for the Eagles, it was like Rashad Penny gets the first carry, and it's like, okay, well,
you can't do that.
No, like, doesn't actually mean anything.
I tell everybody, dude, wait until week 5, 6, 7. Like,
yeah, well, and that's the thing, right? Like, it's because as much as we're trying to read into it, all of these head coaches know that we're going to read into it.
Oh yeah,
and they know that every other head coach is going to read into it and be like, oh, what are they doing? Like, we're playing them week 2, week 3.
Yeah, exactly.
What are they doing in the offseason? Like,
you're making a game plan at the end of the day. Like,
yeah,
if we think we can predict it, that's an issue.
Yeah,
probably not going to happen that way, So it's definitely something you want to wait a few weeks, see how these guys are really staying consistent at those times and stuff like that. But
yeah, I definitely think we'll have some more, and I'm pretty sure we'll have some more of those throughout the year, or like as we get through the off season, get closer, we'll kind of revisit this, see where that value is, if they stay where they are or whatever, and then we'll put some on the board and have those a couple of those season long bets and see how they go.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, bro. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Again, shout us out if you have any questions on Twitter at PW_housemoney or at these lovely Twitter handles right here. posted a couple of free plays on TikTok this week. So follow us on TikTok at playing _ with house money on the Instagram. Hit either of us up, get in the Gilded chat, whatever. If you're tailing us, if you're fading what we've said, if you've got your own bets that you're interested in, that you want to know, if it's MLB and there's a couple of pitchers or a couple of players that you like for home runs, just hit up Prue. He will tell you what he thinks. You can tell him that he's wrong, or if you agree with him. And again, the same on the soccer. If you're betting any of these European leagues that are kicking off, let me know. I might tail a couple of you because I'm not making my own bets. So let us know. But whatever you're doing, good luck. And we'll be back next Friday playing with more house money.